Next, we take a look at the enhancement Shaman. This is undergoing severe changes, and I feel like this has really came back to its core fantasy. I hated the direction it had in WoD, although it was really, really powerful. It just wasn't fun. It was just a clunky, awkward thing. This feels more like Cataclysm, and I am all for that. So let's take a look. Oh, and I don't know fucking Jimmy Neutron, you dick. Okay, so up next we have the Enhancement Shaman. I've actually really enjoyed this class, especially the Battlegrounds, which is good to say from the intro because in Warlords of Draenor it just became absolutely awful. It was just clunky, it just didn't do anything, it was overpowered, but it didn't really have a place or presence. So I'm really happy to say that this has now become much better, more like its roots in Cataclysm, where it was just kind of a lot of different little hits as opposed to just Stormlash and Lava Lash and Storm Strike, which was just what it basically became in WoD, was just Purge, those two damage abilities, and that was it. And you know, Sheer. It was just not fun. So let's take a look at it then. So to start off with, you get the Doom Hangers, your Doom Hammer is your artifact weapon. Gives you the ability Doom Winds, unleashes the inner power of the Doom Hammer, causing all auto attacks to trigger Wind Fury and increase damage dealt by Wind Fury by 400% for 6 seconds. I like that they're making Wind Fury relevant again. You know, it's what was the fun part of being an Enhancement Shaman, just being able to do something this sporadic damage that was a little bit unpredictable, but you could obviously tailor it to when you want it to go. So this is absolutely awesome, and I'm glad that they've really kind of gone back to its roots with this, especially now that the artifact weapon is, the iconic Shaman weapon, so it kind of makes sense. And you can obviously buff that ability with other things, which I'll show you, such as Wind Fury Totem later on. So let's take a look at the core stuff of the class. Here we go, straight here. So you've got your Storm Strike, strong melee attack with a short cooldown that consumes Maelstrom, and Lava Lash, melee attack with a short cooldown that consumes Maelstrom. You've got your Maelstrom weapon, passive, your melee attacks generate Maelstrom. Obviously, when it came to the class in Warlords of Draenor, you didn't have Maelstrom, but you just basically, you just had mana, and you didn't really have to ever worry about it, to be honest. Stormbringer, passive. Your attacks sometimes reduce the cost of your next Storm Strike and reset its remaining cooldown. Really cool. This is your big hitting ability, Storm Strike. And so things like this just allow you to get that off, and it's very satisfying. I get hit for about 300k when it procs, so it's nice damage. You really do notice it. Rockbiter and Flame Tongue. Obviously, back in the original Cataclysm prior area, you had imbues that you could put on your weapons, which were just the little spinny colours that went around the weapons. They've made a return. You've got Rockbiter, short range attack that generates Maelstrom, which is your filler, which also is your auto generator for Maelstrom weapon. You can talent it to make it stronger. It has a 10-yard range, which I found was really nice in the beta with the latency issues, so I could always get it off. And Flame Tongue. Flame Tongue scorches your target, dealing 26,600 fire damage, and enhances your weapon with fire for 16 seconds, causing each weapon attack to deal up to 1,200 fire damage based on weapon speed. Really cool. All of this stuff just plays into the Shaman fantasy really well. So let's have a look at the rest of the abilities. You've got your Res, not a combat res, a res when you're out of combat. You've always had this. Astral Recall, your second Hearthstone. Astral Shift. As I've mentioned in the Elemental video, they've taken away Shamanistic Rage, and you now have Astral Shift, which is basically Similar, a 1.5 minute cooldown, but for 40% less damage for only 6 seconds. So obviously it is definitely a nerfed version of Shamanistic Rage. You cannot use it when stunned. So it's again having that kind of skill element to when you can predict to go on you. But with only having a 6-second duration, the enemy team can really just pause themselves, continue the CC, and then go for you when it comes towards the last 2 seconds. So I'm not really sure about this, but it's something. Bloodlust, same as before. You can talent this in your honor talents to make it a much shorter personal cooldown for yourself and one teammate. It's going to make Shaman be fantastic in elemental cleaves, such as turbo cleave and stuff like that, which is kind of a shame, but it's going to be, it's adding depth and a little bit of difference to the spec, which we like. Cleanse Spirit, same as before. Crash Lightning electrocutes all enemies in front of you, dealing 36,000 nature damage. Hitting 2 or more targets enhances your weapons for 10 seconds, causing Storm Strike and Lava Strash to also deal 15,000 nature damage to all targets in front of you. An ability to help you with AoE. This is cool. I never really liked Chain Lightning as an enhancement Shaman or Fire Nova. I thought they were really either underwhelming or absurdly strong, and I'm glad that they're kind of moving away from that philosophy. They don't need to have those spells. They're a melee Shaman. Should be more abrupt and just in front of you. Doom Winds, which we've spoken about before. Farsight still in the game. This is a talent which we'll talk about. Feral Spirits are still here. Obviously they've kind of changed it a little bit, and so they're immune to movement impaired effects and grant you 5 Maelstrom each time they attack. This is really nice because it allows you to get off more Storm Strikes and Lava Lashes, or better yet, get off more Lava Lashes and help with your Maelstrom generation. Flame Tongue scorches your target, dealing 26,000 fire damage, enhances your weapons for fire for 16 seconds. Very easy to keep up on yourself. Just kind of one of those things to just make sure you've always got active. And the same with Frostband. All of this stuff is just small little buffs to enhance your weapons and just gives it a beautiful display when you're in the battleground. It's just nice things to monitor. It's good. It's got a bit of depth to it in terms of what you've got to keep hold of, and that's really great. Fury of Air is an ability that's from the Honor talents. I will show you later on. Ghost Wolf is Ghost Wolf. Healing Surge basically uses Maelstrom to make it more powerful, and if it can't, it will use mana. Hex is Hex. Lava Lash is still there. Lightning Bolt, I'll put this in my bars. I haven't used it. I don't like the idea of using Lightning Bolt as a melee. I just think it's clunky. Lightning Surge Totem is the same as before, where you put it down on the ground and then it just lets off the AoE. You've got Purge. Purges the enemy target, removing 1 beneficial magic effect. Rockbite assaults your target with Earthen Power, dealing 42,000 nature damage. Spirit Walk removes all movement impairing effects, increases your movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds. Storm Strike, we've mentioned that already. Water Working, you've still got it. You can travel across water. Wind Shear is Wind Shear. They've actually increased the range to 30 yards. Okay. And then you've obviously got your passives here. Maelstrom Weapon. Each time you deal damage with a melee weapon, you generate 5 Maelstrom. And chances your triggers to trigger Stormbringer and Wind Fury by 3% and increases all damage by 26% of the elements you use. Reincarnation. Stormbringer. Each of your main hand attacks have a 6% chance to reset their remaining cooldown. Storm Strike. Stormlash. While your weapons are enhanced, your attacks have a chance to grant Stormlash up to 2 party or raid members for 8 seconds, causing additional and spellcaster deal additional damage. This is the lightning effect that you see for Shamans, where it just basically triggers off them onto another one of their teammates, and this is the passive that causes it. And finally, the one we all enjoy, Wind Fury. Each of your main attacks has a 6% chance to trigger 3 extra attacks, dealing 7,400 damage. So really, really cool. I'm actually really enjoying this class. I hated it in WoD, and in Mop it was alright because it was OP, but in WoD I hated it. Well, it was OP in WoD as well, but it was just not fun. So yeah, I'm really liking how this looks in Legion, guys. If we go to the talents, level 15 tier, you've got Windsong, Hot Hand, and Boulder Fist. I've talented Hot Hand, melee attacks with Flame Tongue active, also make your next Lava Lash cost no Maelstrom and deal 100% increased damage. Really nice. The other options were Windsong, lashes your enemy for 46,000 nature damage, enhances your weapons with wind, increasing your attack speed by 20%. Again, you've got choices here which, really they could all be good in a different area, and that's what makes this such a good spec. Boulder Fist, 10-yard range, 5-second recharge, slams your target with the power of stone, dealing 76,000 nature damage and enhancing your weapons for 10 seconds, increasing your critical strike chance by 10% and all damage you deal by 5%. Your level 30 talents. Rainfall. Blankets the target area in healing rain, restoring 30,000 health up to 6 allies over 10 seconds. Storm Strike and Lava Lash will extend the duration of rainfall. So these are kind of like your healing utility spells. Feral Lunge is the one that I've gone for. Lunge at your enemy at a ghostly wolf, biting them to deal 40,000 damage. Amazing for uptime and also does damage. Can't go wrong with Feral Lunge. Windrush Totem, same for Elemental. Summon a totem at the target location for 15 seconds, continually granting all allies who pass within 10 yards 60% increased movement speed for 5 seconds. At level 45, you've got your totem talents. You've got Lightning Surge Totem, which is the same as it's been, but it's a much shorter cooldown. So after 2 seconds, zap, everyone within there, gets stunned within 8 yards for 5 seconds. Earth Grab Totem. Summons a totem at the target location. The totem pulses every 2 seconds, rooting all enemies within 10 yards for 5 seconds. Enemies previously rooted by the totem instead suffer 50% movement speed reduction. Voodoo Totem. This is actually, I need to correct myself from something earlier on. I said in Elemental that they gave Voodoo Totem. What I didn't realise is this simply changes your castable single person Hex into Voodoo Totem, which means you can lay it on the ground and get multiple people with Hex. So same cooldown. Quite good, but I think because you're going to be in a melee's face, I'm enjoying Lightning Surge Totem because you're using it to get that stun off. Because if you don't have that, then actually it's quite hard to lock down a person you're on. Outside of obviously interruption. Level 60, Lightning Shield makes a return. I'm super happy about this. Surround yourself with a Shield of Lightning for 1 hour, which has a chance to deal 7,600 nature damage. Ancestral Swiftness increases haste by 10% and attack speed by 10%. Sundering shatters a line of earth in front of you with your main hand weapon, causing 200,000 physical damage and knocking enemies to the side. Level 75, you've got Tempest. Stormbringer now affects the next 2 Storm Strikes. Overcharge. Lightning Bolt now consumes up to 60 Maelstrom for up to 1,500 increased damage, but has a 7.5 second cooldown. I've not tried this. Not really interested in Lightning Bolt, even if it's OP. I just don't like the way it fits. And then finally, Landslide. Rockbiter now also enhances your weapon, increasing your attack power by 20% for 10 seconds. Obviously, you're always pressing Rockbiter, so you're going to have that always up, so I've enjoyed just having that extra damage. Level 90, Crash and Storm. Crash and Lightning also electrifies the ground, leaving an electrical field behind it which damages enemies within it for 44,000 nature damage over 6 seconds. I've enjoyed this just even as a single target. Damage increase on the targets that I'm on. Hailstorm. Frostbrand now also enhances your weapon's damage, causing each of your weapon attacks to also deal 2,000 damage. Again, this is building into the multiple magnitude of hits that Enhanced Shaman can do in within seconds. It's good. It's all building towards the fantasy of the class, which made it so unique almost. Empowered Stormlash. Stormlash now spreads up to 1 additional target and deals 30% additional damage. It's okay. I've enjoyed Crash and Storm personally. Now we come to the level 100 talents. Ascendants transform into an Air Ascendant for 15 seconds, generating 4 Maelstrom per second and transforming your auto attack and Storm Strike into wind attacks, which bypass armor and have a 30-yard range. Fury of Air creates a vortex of wind 8 yards around you, dealing 6,000 damage every 1 second to enemies caught in the storm, and slowing them by 30% for 3 seconds. And finally, level 100, Earthen Spike. Summons an Earthen Spike under an enemy, dealing 100,000 physical damage, and increasing physical and nature damage you deal to the target by 10%. Really, there is so many talents here that will allow you to buff all of your elemental damage on the mob that you're attacking. I really need to have some time to play around this. I've enjoyed Fury of the Air because of how easy Maelstrom has been to generate, and I can literally have it up the entire time. And I'll show you in the DPS video I do on the training dummy when we compare it to Warlords of Draenor. So let's go look at the honour talents. Again, the first 2 rows. I've gone for the Gladiator's Medallion because I want to be able to control what I break for CC. I've gone for Sparring. Physical melee attacks have a 20% chance to be blunted, dealing 50% reduced damage. Sky Fury Totem, it basically buffs all the spell critical chance of spellcasters around you. Counter-Strike Totem, I have still not tried this. I want to, but I just haven't had a healer to really maximise its benefit. Basically, enemies will kill themselves when they attack you at the same time if they're within range of this totem. I have been using Windfree Totem to give myself and my teammates in melee range big damage boost. Ish, not too big, but it's noticeable on the mobs that we've been killing for swaps. Next set, you've got Ethereal Form. You turn Ethereal every 45 seconds, making you immune to all physical damage but unable to attack, and your movement speed is reduced by 50%. Vulnerable to magic, receiving 200% increased damage, lasts for 15 seconds. Yeah, replaces Astral Shift. Spectral Recovery. While in Ghost Form, you heal 4% health every 2 seconds. Swelling Waves. When you cast Heal and Surge on yourself, you are healed again for the same amount 3 seconds later. I like this talent, it's predictable and I know what I get with it, so I've been using it every time. When you cast Heal and Surge on yourself, you are again healed for the same amount 3 seconds later. This is fantastic. Let's just get away from this guy. Some guy that just wants to join me while I'm trying to talk to you guys. Next talents, you've got Forks Lightning, Static Cling and Ride the Lightning. When you use Storm Strike, you conjure bolts of lightning to up to 2 furthest enemies within 40 yards, dealing 76 nature damage. I've really enjoyed this, specifically because in Battlegrounds, when I've been attacking a melee, normally behind them's the healers healing them. So I'm hitting the melee, and then at the same time, it's attacking both the healers for the same damage from behind. So it's cleaving the DPS I'm on, and normally the 2 healers. If I'm on a healer, he's going to be around other range normally, hits them as well. Been really enjoying this talent. Static Cling. After you use Storm Strike twice in a row on an enemy, you create a coil of lightning binding you to the target, increasing the damage the target receives from your attacks by 15% and increasing the movement speed by 15% when clinging holds. If the target moves further than 15 yards from you, the cling will break. I've not played that, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't read that. That sounds pretty amazing in a tunnel comp environment. Ride the Lightning. When you use Storm Strike, you also cast Chain Lightning on the target. You know, that's fair enough. But these other 2 sound much more interesting. I'm definitely going to try this Static Cling out. And on your final talent tier, you've got Shaman. Your Bloodless spell now has a 45-second cooldown, but only affects you and your friendly target when cast for 10 seconds. Again, this is what I'm talking about in terms of melee cleaves. This is crazy that you can literally buff yourself and your melee teammate when you're looking at the target. Leader of the Clang. When you use Storm Strike, you enchant up to 3 allies or yourself within 10 yards with Storm Lash. And Thunder Charge. You cool down bolts of lightning charging you and your target's weapons. The cooldown recovery rate of all abilities is increased by 30% for 10 seconds. Interesting. I've not tried that. I'm not really interested in it, to be honest, because I just love Shamanist. And I love the fact that we've got a cooldown that I can use for myself and my teammates. I like it. It just works together really nice. So yeah, guys, that's the abilities for enhancement that we've just talked about and the choices that I've made. So next I'll show you this class in action. Cheers. Welcome back to this part of the video, which is the Shaman Battleground commentary gameplay. So yep, obviously Silver Shard Mines again. I keep getting this dungeon, I'm not sure why. They obviously... Dungeon? What am I saying? Battleground. You're going to have to forgive me. I've been trying to get a few of these done. Yep, so we're just like... This is obviously the first time I've ever stepped foot into the Battleground as this spec after reading about it and just all the stuff that things can do. So we're just going to get straight into it and we're just going to enjoy visually, I guess. You know, take a look at the numbers, see kind of like how the hits progress. You know, visually this class is absolutely stunning. Like, to play is probably the most fun I've had as a class so far in the beta. And yeah, we're just obviously on this Holy Priest right now. He's kind of just showing us his metal by just standing there, getting the buff out. Dropped my Wind Fury totem for everyone just to get that extra bit of damage and see if I can just unload it onto this priest here. Unfortunately he gets to absorb all that damage there, which would have been probably quite a big hit, although I did get the free Storm Strike there from the proc we spoke about earlier and did a nice 400k's worth of damage. But yeah, this is a good opportunity right now for me just to beat the crap into this guy constantly and really get a feel for how much damage I can do. I mean, you guys are watching this right now. Visually, it's stunning. Like, it is really absolutely fantastic as a... I would say out of every class, it looks the best. Now, I know there's obviously really good ones like the DK and the Fury Warrior, but enhancement for me personally is just... The best way to put it is just a clusterfuck of elemental wrath. Like, it's just everywhere. One thing you're going to notice in this Battleground is I get feared so many times, and it is so upsetting for every fear to land. I can't tremor it, I can't pre-tremor it. I miss Tremor Totem. Blizzard, if you see this video, please consider bringing it back, even as a talent, because Tremor Totem's is fantastic, and fears are going to just get ridiculous. You know, if you don't have the way to break a fear, comps like Mage, Warlock, something, probably H-Pala, are going to be really powerful as well, because you're not going to be able to do much about them. Are a force to be reckoned with in terms of damage. You obviously lay on hands himself there, kind of a little bit of a cheat I still think to this day, but it is whatever. Now they're both targeting themselves on me. Don't really have much chance. Fury Warrior is currently the strongest melee in the game. H-Pala is a healer that hits like a truck, especially when he's popped his wings. So we're going to go down quite easy. I'm not going to self-res there because they're just going to turn and instantly one-shot me. With the res battle, well, you know, with the reincarnation being at 20%, obviously that allows instantly for a warrior just to execute you, even at 25% if they've talented it, and they can charge to you and do it. So you're really just gonna eat shit. So here I kind of get my Wrath back out, and I get some back-to-back beautiful damage modifiers on all the buffs I put down. You know, Wind Fury Totem, they're really putting in the work with the free Storm Strike proc for back-to-back Storm Strikes. You know, there's the magic moments when this spec just absolutely shines, and it's just, that's what I'm really enjoying about it. Is it's a little bit, you know, there's a lot to manage. Well, there's not a lot to manage. There's more than most classes in the beta to manage. But when you pull it off and you just get that nice bit of damage like there, it's visually satisfying, and it hits like a truck. So yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. You know, I've put down the the Wind Fury Totem just to get that more damage out of this guy. See the Shaman's over here, so I'm going to come up to him and give him some damage, just trying to get all my modifiers ready, and then just smash him right there. If you saw there, that was a really quick 500k's worth of damage. You know, a core 322k Storm Strike, which was then multi-striked, and then it had all the imbues go off at the same time. Wind Fury procs. It's honestly just great fun. Like, I've really enjoyed this. As a dueling class one-on-one, this enhancement Shaman isn't that great. Against melees, it's pretty terrible. Against range, it's really good. Obviously, with the fact that you can, you know, you've got the shear, you've got the hex, you've got heals. So yeah, you've got the feral lunge. So against range classes, this class does have a shining moment. But melees, you know, not too much of a problem. You know, obviously this is that bloody holy paladin again, just getting in and just fighting everyone and just laughing at us because it's just like OP as shit. But we get the kick on him there. So we're just going to take this opportunity to put down my Wind Fury Totem, so I'm ready to put in as much damage as possible on this guy because I just want to kill him, because obviously he's just been a nuisance that we can't do anything with. Luckily Flame Shock broke that. So yeah, I'm just trying to get the damage out, trying to get this guy down so he just stops causing such a problem, because he is just so powerful. And there we do. So then I just move straight back onto the priest. You know, there you can see all the like earth effects, and I just drop that guy so fast with the help of my teammates. And so yeah, it's just, obviously playing this for the first time, it's quite hard to really commentate, but here I eat a fear and there's nothing I can do. I couldn't have pre-tremored it, I couldn't have like baited it, you just get feared, and as a shaman being feared and being helpless, it's not a nice feeling. But yeah, so anyway, we see this Shadow Priest, so I'm trying to get over to him. You know, I'm really enjoying the fact that my Rockbite weapon has range, so that when he tries to kite me, I can just get back. Drop down the Wind Fury Totem, I'm trying to get in a big Storm Lash and start bursting this guy, imbued both of my weapons, pop my wolves for some extra damage here. You know, just noticing that there, I've summoned obviously some Fire Wolves. I'm interested to know that if I use Flame Tongue weapon, if that has then made the Spirit Wolves fire. Maybe someone in the comments can correct me, because that's a really nice touch if they've done that. I obviously self-res here because I feel like I'll be able to get away. We've got a healer with us, and I might be able to just pop a heal, get some damage down. You know, just to try and put some stuff on to help my teammates, maybe if I can get a buff on them, but unfortunately it doesn't proc. So again, H-Paladins, you know, this is one H-Paladin, so this is why Blizzard need to kind of like balance part of this aspect. So we're just getting back on him to try and do as much damage as possible. You know, we get him back down, and then the Shadow Priest obviously shows himself here. So we're just going to collectively turn on him to get that damage out. But I get feared again. Oh, it triggers me a little bit getting feared and not being able to do anything. Obviously the H-Pala uses Bop straight away, so we're trying to get to him. I decided that actually fighting him next to his spawn location isn't too smart. I'm debating whether or not to really engage with him, but I'm not going to, and I think now it's best just to pull back. So obviously coming back out, just looking for anyone that's about. Notice this warrior's over here. You know, he's got Die with a Sword active, so his arms. Just pop down my Windlash and we just secure the kill nice and fast to just alleviate all pressure off our healer. You know, I'm looking around trying to see if there's any place that I can just assist my teammates with some damage and utility and buffs. And here we see this Shadow Priest, so I'm just going to pop my Wind Fury and go instantly ham on this guy. Just to kind of like test out the burst damage. And then like there you go again, you know, a lot of that damage was me. The Wind Fury definitely helps. You know, it solidifies any presence the melee have to just try and like switch. And I'm liking that. I'm liking that in this expansion so far. Switch is going to look like it's a good thing to do. Something that's kind of missing from WoD where you just target and train one person from start to finish. In this expansion they look like they're going to really kind of embrace you to do switches. Again, having to trinket that fear, making me feel sad. Trying to get over there, drop the Wind Fury for all my melee teammates so they can get some extra damage out. H-Pala's giving me a run for his money again. He obviously bubbles straight away so I can't do anything. So I just get all the buffs on me. He gets Master Spelled and now I'm just going to go absolutely ham with all my abilities just to try and kill this guy as soon as possible. And we get him down. And by now they've kind of, you know, realised that they've given up. I just dropped a Hex from distance there to Hex the Shadow Priest, which broke unfortunately to dot damage, but you know, that's nice utility to obviously have an instant cast as a totem drop is pretty brilliant. Obviously the priest is trying to target me, so I'm trying to run away as quick as possible, but I've got H-Paladin at the back covering me, so we're going to be absolutely fine. Again, just looking for any targets. I see the Shadow Priest that I just ignored, so I switch onto him to again try out see how much damage I can do in a burst. Get down the Wind Fury totem to give me some extra damage. Need to get some Maelstrom back, so I start spamming Rock Biter weapon. And that guy just came out of the shadows and literally one-shot him. But no guys, I mean I've really enjoyed this spec and I'm definitely going to play some more in the beta with it. Tell me what you think. Is there any talents you kind of want me to use in the Battleground so you get to see them? I'm open to show you any footage that you need. So we're just going to come towards the end here. And I don't think we kill this guy, we don't. Yeah, not bad, 6-2, especially when I don't really know what I'm doing. So anyway guys, yeah, that's the end of the Battleground commentary. I'll show you obviously like the damage and stuff of the spec compared to WoD as well, which you would have already seen, but I'll obviously make that video now. And as always, please help the channel by subscribing, commenting, liking. Peace.